Hello, BookTube. This is gonna be a quick unhaul. I know I'm still in my unhauling phase, but this time we're gonna be doing classic books. I went through my classics here. I went through all of that's from like ancient Mesopotamia all the way until 1799, and I actually went through my 1800 shelf, which is scary. It's double stacked at some points because I love the 1800s so much. And I went through that. I'm like, it's time. Who's going? Who's staying? Because I want to make room for some classics, just so I can have more space. And I got a massive handful of some, and some of these are going to be a bit controversial, but I've tried with a lot of these authors, and I've read these, and I haven't thought about them in a long time, and I don't think I'm going to go back to them. So let's start with a controversial one. This is a booktube favorite, but I've never been gripped by Oscar Wilde. I have read bits of him over the years. I've read The Picture of Dorian Gray. I've read a handful of his plays. I think his essays are really good, but I just don't care about him, to be honest. He's never been an all-time favorite writer. I think if I was going to have like Oscar Wilde, I don't need a complete works. I think I would have The Picture as like a Penguin Black, and honestly that's really it. I've just never been an Oscar Wilde girly like at all that much, and it's taking room on my shelf, and someone else can have this very anonymous um, complete works of Oscar Wilde. It's lovely, but it's got some lovely pictures of him, and but I don't need more Oscar Wilde in my life. I really don't. And then I'm getting rid of some Wilkie Collins because I read Wilkie Collins every year for Victober in memory of Jennifer Brooks. And Wilkie Collins isn't a favorite author of mine. I I pretty much I'm getting rid of the Moonstone here, and I'm getting rid of Armadale. I've read both of these. I read Armadale last year, this year. Sorry, for I'm already getting confused. This year for Victober, and I read the Moonstone the year before, and they're not my favorite Wilkie Collins. I am keeping the Moonstone and the Law and the Lady, but Armadale I thought was mediocre, and the Moonstone I just didn't like at all. I thought it was like a exotic, boring adventure novel. I know people like Wilkie Collins, but he's never been my favorite. I am gonna keep on going. I've got Basil to read, of Man and Wife and a couple other novels. I'm slowly making my way through Wilkie Collins, but outside of again The Woman in White and The Law and the Lady, I've never really liked Wilkie Collins. I think he's a bit too sensational for my taste, but I need room, so those two Wilkies are going. And it's like I'm getting rid of every Wilkie Collins. And then I've got some non-fiction here on War by Karl von Clausewitz here. This is some Napoleon history from a soldier, I think. Yeah, and I thought it was fine when I read it. I read it as a teen. I don't really care about Napoleon Wars. Oh, I'm sorry, but it's going. And again, people gonna not like this. She by H. Rider Haggard. I know there's gonna be a Haggard reading event in January, but he's just not for me, so he's going. I know. Rene Descartes, Discourse on the Method. I don't need that. I don't. Now we're getting to some like classic stuff. Oh, before we do, randomly I have Venus and Furs here. Oh, it's got a bit of dust on it, but read it as a teen. It's boring, to be honest. It's another author I'll talk about in a sec. I am also getting rid of Francis Bacon's essays. I've read Bacon. Literally does not. I literally don't care. I know. I read and I go, yeah, obviously, and just move on with my life. I always kept Bacon because of his possibility that he is possibly wrote the plays of Shakespeare, but outside of that, I've never absolutely cared for Francis Bacon. And why would I read Bacon's essays when I can read Montaigne's? Like literally. So I have that. That's going. The memoirs of Emma Courtney. These are some love letters. They're short. They're late 1700s. It's going. And then I'm getting rid of Laura Doone by R.D. Blackmore. I've had this book for years. It's I've tried a handful of times to read it, but it's just never appealed to me, and it's literally been sitting on my shelf for like, oh my god, like 5-ish years, and it can go, it can go. And then the last author I'm getting rid of. This is kind of like Venus and Furs, where I read as a teen, but I never ever go back to reading it, and that's Marcus de Sade. Um, I do have the Oxfords of him. I got Crimes of Love here. This is a collection of some of his works. The Misfortunes of Virtue and other early tales. And then I've got a new one, the Marquis de Gange. I don't know what to say. I can't speak French. And de Sade, what do you want me to say about de Sade? I think once you get over the shocking about what his books are about, he is such a bad writer. Like literally, he does nothing for me. I've tried a handful of translations of him over the years, just finding him secondhand. But he, as an author, is so. Once you go over the shocking factor of 120 days and stuff like that, it just does nothing for me. There's nothing, and so it's going. Besides the fact we weirdly share a birthday, there's no reason for me to keep Desard. And also, me and Hardy share a birthday. All three of us share a birthday. But anyway, and then I'm getting rid of an author that I've been currently reading for like the last week and a half, and that's Patrick White. Have I read Voss as a teen pretty much, so this is going to be a Patrick White rant because I'll get about this. I don't know, and I'll talk about it again. But I read Voss as a teen, and Patrick White is literally one of the most famous Australian authors ever. He's the only Australian author to ever win the Nobel Prize for literature. Who cares? But he won that, and I was like, oh my god, like I'll give him a try because I've heard so much about him. And I read Voss as a teen. I was like, that's so fine. And then I moved on with my life. And then a couple weeks ago, I was like, I want to return to Patrick White because it's been a while and I want to see if I like him as an author. So I do have I got a handful of his novels I've just collected over time. There's a couple first editions here, which isn't really much of a flex, but I was like, I'm gonna do his letters that I have. I have like a memoir by a biography by David Marr, which I love to death. I have some of Wyatt's short stories. I have his plays, handful of novels. So I'm like, let's do this. And oh my god, I don't like Patrick White at all. He is literally, if you because I never liked D.H. Lawrence. I think I don't understand why he's a classic author for me. I don't get it at all. I like Lawrence's nonfiction, but outside of that, oh my god, avoid him. Like literally, I don't like him at all. And White is our version of D.H. Lawrence for me. He is like if you took the writing of D.H. Lawrence and you put more of like a modernist of a time. Like you put a sprinkle of the experimentalness of Joyce, like the narrative structure, and you put a bit of Wolf stream of consciousness in there, and you like put it in a soup with all three of those, and throw some, make it Australian, and you've got Patrick White, and I just don't like it. I think his plots are kind of cool. Like if you told me the premise of the Vasector or Voss or Happy or what's Happy? Oh my god, the Tree of Man. I can't remember the names of them because they're so boring. Valley. If you tell me the plots of them, I'm like that's really good. Or some of his plays, but my god, his writing just kills it for me. I think it's so pretentious and I know, but I read Les Murray. Read oh my god, sorry fat. Read Les Murray. He's so much better, and so I'm nearly done with my reading of Patrick White. It's fine, like he's not awful, but pretty much the only things I've got left because I've been devouring his books. I've been reading them at work, audiobooking them at work, and reading them at home. And so the only ones I have left is I have The Cockatoos, which is a short story collection here. I've read a bit of it so far, and it's sure is a short story collection. It's fine. Then I have The Tree of Man, which I haven't read yet. I'll get to it this week or whatever. And then I have The Letters, which I've been slowly making my way through. And because I thought I'll like his auto, like I loved his biography. Maybe his letters will be interesting, but they're not. and I don't know why. And I can't. I've been ranting too much about this. So, what's going from Patrick White? Everything. When I finish these will probably go the letters, the cockatoos, the Tree of Man, um, the Riders of the Chariot. I read, thought was fine, literally nothing. But for Sector, I've also got to read because I saved it to the end because it is a bit bigger than his other stuff. But that's going. I read his plays, like a collection. This is what the Ham Funeral, the season, like 4 plays. That's enough. They're fine. Happy Valley, his debut, I read, and then Voss, which is his most famous book, and that's going as well. So the only thing I'm keeping from this entire Patrick White reading is a biography of him. And I'm probably not, because I was like, I'm gonna keep Voss, like have one of his main ones, but I just don't care. I know. And so once I finish those handful of whites I have left, these are all going to the op shop because people think white's underrated, and I'll just donate it back because I got these many years ago. I've collected them for so long, so I'm like, I'm gonna reread them again, but it can be put back into the world, just like all of these classics here. And that is just a quick unhaul of some classic books. Let me know what you think of what I'm unhauling. And yeah, thank you so much for watching BookTube, and I will see you next time.